Good day, everyone. This is our topic, the culture or ethnic sensitive perspective. So, let me first introduce to you our quote for life. Nobody can make you happy until you're happy with yourself first.
Okay, so at the end of the lesson, the student would be able to identify what is culture, ethnic sensitive perspective, learn about the characteristics, applications, and importance of culture, ethnic sensitive perspective, and last, apply all the information that is contained in this topic in assessing future clients. So, the idea of this perspective is the ability to recognize, respect, and appreciate the differences between people from different cultures and ethnic backgrounds. It also involves being aware of the potential for bias or misunderstanding based on cultural and ethnic differences. A cultural and ethnically sensitive perspective is essential in today's increasingly diverse and interconnected world. By being aware of and respectful of different cultures and ethnic backgrounds, people can create an environment of mutual understanding, respect, and acceptance. So, ethnic groups and ethnicity. Most definitions of ethnic groups focus on several themes, including a common religion, culture, physical appearance, or some combination of these. Gordon defines an ethnic group as a population entity that considers itself to have a common historical ancestry and identity, a sense of peoplehood, of consulting a people, and is so regarded by others. It may be coextensive with a particular nation, or it may be a subpopulation within a nation. It may be based on a common religion, a common language, a common national background, a common racial ancestry or frequency, or some combination of several of these factors. So, cultural perspective. A cultural perspective is viewing a situation or concept through the eyes of individuals' native environmental and social influence. It is the influence that a culture and society have on a person's worldview and perspective. This is an important concept in social sciences because it is important to consider how individual or group may perceive something based on the cultural and societal norms that they are used to. So, ethnic sensitive perspective. Ethnic sensitive models of practice emphasize the importance of culture and cultural differences. The cultural model is described and critically evaluated. It is most appropriate when working with recent refugees and immigrants, but less appropriate when working with people of color, though whose families go background generations in the United States. Okay, moving forward to ethnic sensitive practice. The term ethnic sensitive social work practice, once introduced, came to be used by social workers when referring in a broad, general sense to practice that is mindful of the effects of ethnic and minority group membership in social functioning and seeks to incorporate this understanding into practice. Used this way, the term is not limited to any single or definition or approach. Longras amplifies this use of the term when he suggests that ethnic sensitive models are proliferating. He also suggests that for the most part, these models emphasize differences in cultural norms. Another use of the term has been introduced by McMahon and Alan Meres. In the effort to answer the question, is social work racist? These authors reviewed segments of the social work literature and concluded that ethnic sensitive practice ultimately focus on change in the social worker, not the client nor the client's external conditions. Thus, by itself, without regard for the client's social and economic context, ethnic sensitive practice reinforces the racist condition that oppress clients. This is a distortion of the approach introduced initially by the present authors and subsequently reiterated by DeVore and Kelsinger in 1981, 1987, and 1991. Emphasis on simultaneous attention to psychological and systems change strategies where there remain an integral focus on the approach. Our own review of literature surfaced no exclusive focus on changing by the social worker at the expense of systems change, nor have other reviews identified any trust. So next, ideological, theoretical, and conceptual formulations. So first is the ideological considerations. Theoretical or conceptualized as well as ideological formulations have been introduced as the basis for ethnic sensitive practice. Lester in 1987 suggests a distinction between an ethnocultural focus on ethnic group values, history, family structure, and family functions related to ethnocultural identification, and a minority perspective focused on racism, powerlessness, prejudice, discrimination, and other types of oppression. The second one is the theoretical perspective. Diverse theoretical perspective from sociology, anthropology, social psychology, and political theory have various focus on individual behavior, the function of groups and social systems, and on relationships between diverse groups. Lam in 1992 points to concepts of race, class, ethnicity, and power, therapeutic approaches with minority families, gender, perspective on mental health, and minority perspective on human behavior and the social environment. Pinderhues in 1989 shows how power, ethnicity, and race contribute to problems and how understanding their effects and interplay can contribute to effective practice.
Okay, so good day everyone. I will be the one to discuss about the characteristics of ethnic groups, the model of ethnic sensitive practice, and the importance of culture or ethnic sensitive perspective. Language is such a significant aspect of an ethnic group because it is one of the characteristics that can be easily indicated and distinguishable. For example, a person who is white may identify as French and Canadian as their ethnic group because they speak French and were born in Canada, along with all other sociocultural values they have. So regardless of these, it should be noted that although language is a significant indicator of ethnicity, it is not the only indicator, as there are various other characteristics and aspects to an ethnicity or ethnic group. Okay, so for example, someone who speaks the same language may not identify within the same ethnic group. So a French Canadian person is not the same as a French person who lives in or is from France. Although the two may speak the same language, there are differences in how they speak, interact, and understand cultural values or practices that pertain to the different regions of the two French speakers. So the territory, region, or nationality are also characteristics that ethnic groups use to distinguish themselves. Using the example, French Canadian people mostly live in the province of Quebec in the country of Canada, while French people of France are separate ethnic group. In addition, there are other significant characteristics an ethnic group may have. So first, we have a religion. Second, values and beliefs. Third, costumes or practices. Fourth, food and diet. The next one, form of clothing. Then literature and art in the form of music, dance, or works of art. Here, focus is on the approach to practice introduced by the present authors in several of our works. So, we take the position that all people are members of ethnic groups and have experienced ethnic socialization processes, whether in single or dual or multi ethnic households. So, major elements of being are affected by ethnic group membership. For this reason, social workers need to understand and attend to ethnic related dispositions of all peoples just as they need to understand other elements of human functioning. So, this distinction between oppression and diversity, made earlier in the section on definitional issues, calls attention to these differences and points to social workers' obligation to be mindful of both, as well as the special obligation to work to eliminate and reduce the basis of oppression. The distinction between minority groups and ethnic groups, as earlier defined, is of special importance in this approach to practice. So, ethnic sensitive practice, as defined, her presents no distinctive model or approaches to practice. Rather, the position is taken that the understandings and approaches developed can and must be incorporated into the diverse approaches to practice. So, the layers of understanding is a concept that suggests that knowledge, value, and skill, including the specialized knowledge and skills of ethnic sensitive approaches, are the essential ingredients of professional practice. So the layers are: first, we have a social work values; second, knowledge of human behavior; third, knowledge and skill in understanding and effecting changes in social welfare policies and services, especially those racist and other structural impediments to effective service delivery. Fourth, self awareness with emphasis on who am I in the ethnic sense. Fifth, the impact of the ethnic reality on all people with someone attention to those ethnic groups that are particular victims of racism and poverty. And then, six, the road to the social worker, a conceptualization of the paths to social work services that recognizes that members of oppressed minority groups are most likely to encounter social workers via coercive routes to service such as the courts and the schools. Any theoretical or ideological approach ultimately derives its importance from its utility for our daily work. So, social work has evolved an extensive repertoire of strategies. It was important to assess whether various analysts found these to be compatible with the various positions that have been advanced. So it was also important to determine whether there is need for entirely new approaches or whether ethnic sensitive principles can be incorporated into existing perspectives. A review of the skills, strategies, and interventive repertoires that long dominated the literature suggests that the basic tenets were developed as as if service was to be provided primarily to highly educated persons immersed in middle class culture and values. So, any basic social work practice text highlights the importance of privacy, of confidentiality, and the primacy of individual over collective interests. The suggestion is also conveyed that trust and comfort can be readily generated with the provision of a relaxed atmosphere, respect, use of eye contact, and high levels of empathy. So, the important functions of traditional ethnic culture for a modernizing nation primarily include guiding ethics and morals, forming cultural communities, and increasing ethnic cohesion and the sense of identity. The traditional ethnic culture maintains the cultural and ethnic identity of the social community, its etiquette, and more conscience, while influencing the direction of social development and the understanding of the meaning of life. So, ethnic and minority background may provide clues to understanding the client, and determining degree of acculturation is most important. Rather, the position is taken that the understanding and approaches developed can and must be incorporated into the diverse approaches to practice. So that's all for my part. Thank you.